Paul and Ella. So Paul and Ella are best of friends right from their university days, like starting from their 100 level. They got to meet at their registration ground when they got to the university, and they clicked. Okay, they were best of friends, so they started schooling. And let me tell you a bit about Ella. Ella is a brainy girl, very intelligent, beautiful, brown skin girl like me. That's if I'm not more beautiful. Anyway, Ella is very beautiful. She has a cat eyes, she's very beautiful and she's eloquent, right? Why Paul, on the other hand, he's a handsome guy. I would say an alpha male because he's intelligent, he's eloquent, he's very tall, light skinned, chocolate skin actually. His chocolate color. So these two, they like themselves so much, hey, that you would even confuse their likeness for themselves as though they are dating, but they're not dating actually. So let me even tell you something to show you how close they are. If you're looking for Ella, just find Paul. And if you're looking for Paul, find Ella. Both of them, they go to parties together, they cook together, they stay in the same apartment together. I'm not saying same room, okay? They stay in the same apartment. It's like a shared apartment, right? So they do house chores together. You see them making videos, Instagram, you understand? People be like, oh my god, these couples are so beautiful. Mind you, they keep posting and keep telling people we're just best of friends and nothing else, right? So both of them are from a very wealthy home. They are well-to-do. They are from a very well-to-do home rather. So but hey, on the other hand, Ella had a friend and her name is Ruth. Ruth is a very nice girl. Okay, not until when she started seeing the relationship, getting so close and all of that, and she started eyeing Paul, so things changed. Ruth also stays in the same shared apartment with Ella and Paul. Okay, so sometimes Ella will go make breakfast for Paul, and sometimes Paul will go make breakfast for Ella. Do you understand? Wash her clothes, then they will start talking. As much as Ella is very close to Ruth, but she is more closer to Paul than Ruth. And the thing about their friendship is they can actually talk about anything, right? At some point, Ella was dating a guy, and it was just normal, you get? But the guy got jealous, and he didn't like the way, the friendship Ella had with Paul, because their friendship was more like, it was so intense than even what he has with his girlfriend, according to him at the time. So the guy got jealous and then he left. Then Paul on the other hand was like, okay, he's not for you, obviously, because if it's for you, I mean, I see no reason why he should be pissed about trivial things of how I call you, how we talk, how we play and all of that. And Ruth will keep saying, you guys, with this your kind of friendship, I don't think you will have a serious relationship, because both of you are too close, and there's no reasonable girl or guy that will come around and see your closeness and not get jealous. Get what I mean? So you guys need to tone it down. And they keep saying there's no big deal. There's no big deal about anything. But a day came when Paul finally got a girlfriend. He engaged her. The girl has really tried. Sometimes whenever Paul is with this girl, her name is Shalom. Whenever time is with Shalom, Paul is with Shalom, Paul will be like, let me call my best friend Ella. you need something, okay, I'll just call my best friend Ella. Any little thing, he just keep calling Ella, Ella this, Ella that. If the girl is actually cooking, Shalom is cooking, be like, oh no, Ella wouldn't do it this way. I don't know why you're doing it this way, but Ella wouldn't do it this way. So how about you just chill? Let me call Ella so that Ella will teach you everything. Ella. Very sad. If it's me, I will slap her. I will slap the Ella. That aside. So, well, the friendship was so close with, Ella. So it actually, even when Paul engaged Shalom, still there were some kind of conflicts, So there was this time Ella came to the house unannounced, like, he just came to their room actually unannounced, and Shalom didn't have it. Shalom was like, what the hell? Why would you just come to my room like that? Why? What if I am having an intimacy with my man? Why would you do that? And Ella was like, oh, please calm down. It's not like I've not seen him naked before. I have seen him naked. It's not a big deal. Oh my God. And Paul was like, no, you shouldn't have said that. I was like, what? My man? You guys claim to be best friends, and then what? Then Ella was like, what's the big deal? He's my best friend. I've seen him naked on several occasions, and I don't care. So if I want to have something to do with him, I would, but he's not my man. He's not my type, And Shalom got pissed, and when she was even complaining about it, Paul was like, come on now, it's not a big deal. She's just a bestie and nothing else. There's nothing. I cannot date such a girl. I can never date Ella. Ella is not my kind of girl, Okay, finally, as time goes on, now so Shalom now said, okay, that she doesn't want the relationship anymore. She cannot deal with their kind of friendship and blah blah blah. Paul had a heartbreak, according to him. So him and what's the name, Ella, went to a bar. Ella was like, you see, I lost my boyfriend, you lost your girlfriend because of this friendship. So what are we going to do now? So both of them were high, and they were just talking, playing, and all of a sudden they kissed. Yes, yeah, so they kissed. And when they kissed, they were like, what just happened? Why are we kissing? We're not supposed to be doing this, Anyway, Desha went home. They went home. Then the next day, they met in school. They were already in their 400 level at that time. So they were about graduating and all of that. So Ella then invited Paul to the room that she needs the both of them to talk and plan their future, because after school everybody will have to part ways and all, you get. So then Paul later came to the house, to her room. They talked, they drank, they talked about life, and then Paul was like, don't worry, we'll serve together. I'll make my dad work it out, so we'll serve in the same community together, and that's NYC for those of you who understand, So, and Ella was like, okay, if that's gonna work, why not? And then Paul was like, for me, I would work in my dad's company first start. I don't think I'll work with anybody's or work outside my my dad's company and establishment. And then Ella was like, she too should work in her parents' establishment, that she wouldn't, she doesn't see herself working for anybody, you understand, and she wouldn't want to do that after her NYC, that's serving the country and all of that. Okay, so after that they discussed, and they drank, they played music, they played games, they were having fun until the fun turned into kiss and romance. Hey God. Okay, so before I forget Ruth, on the other hand, Ruth told her, because before she left, she said she was going to Paul's place, blah blah blah. And Ruth already, Ruth always, she has this feeling for Paul. You get me? So now, mind you, they are in a shared apartment, so everyone has their room. So it's a 4-bedroom. Upstairs is a 4-bedroom duplex. Okay, so I just need you guys to understand how they live. Okay, so Ruth loved Paul so much, but then Ella didn't know. Ella didn't have any idea about it. So as time passed on, I was, where was I? It was when I was at the point where Ella visited Paul. Yeah. So they drank, they kissed, and then they made out. Okay, they had sex and all of that. So the next morning they found themselves, and when they woke up, they were like, what nonsense just happened? But then they laughed over it, and they loved it, and they talked about it as grown-up adults. And they said, if we're best friends, why can't we be couple at the end of the day? What's the big deal? So, well, finally Paul engaged her, and everybody got to know, even on the social media space, everyone got to know and stuff. Then people congratulated them and said, we said it after all. After we knew they were going to get married, they were only faking it. And their exes started commenting, oh, that was the reason why you broke my heart, and you made me feel like, oh, I was the wrong person. They started complaining, they started texting, messaging, and they insulted their lives and all of that. But that aside, they didn't care. They didn't even mind. To them, it wasn't just meant to happen, and that is why it happened that way. You get me, right? So they continued their life, and later got married after school. They were living their life, but then before you know it, they started having misunderstanding, and then Paul started cheating. Paul started seeing some other girl outside, and guess who the girl is? Ruth. Ella's best friend, obviously. So how they met was when Paul went to the mall to get something, and they met at the mall. They're like, oh, longest time, where have you been? Oh my god, in the city, blah blah blah. That's Paul talking to Ruth, right? And then Ruth said, yeah, she's in the city, she just came back from the States, because after her school, Ruth actually traveled out, but she has always been in contact with her best friend Ella. Okay, so she was in the city and she just wanted to surprise her friend, but unfortunately her friend's best friend Paul happens to surprise her first, as destiny will hold. But then Ruth has always loved Paul, so they share exchange numbers, and they started talking, and Ruth said she was going to come to the house. So finally Ruth contacted Ella. Oh, guess what I just saw? I saw your guy, blah blah blah, your husband. Then Ruth said, okay, you can come to the house, come over. When are you going to come? Like that. Guest talk now. Finally, Ruth now visited. She visited, she saw everything, how everything was going and all. And then, she started eyeing Paul, but then she said she was going to go home, but later came back, and said, okay, she would like to spend some time with them and all before she travels back. And then Ella was like, okay, there's nothing wrong with that she can actually go. So she came to spend 2 days, and that 2 days she seduced the living daylight out of Paul, but Paul was able to manage it until she left. Okay, and mind you, Paul and Ella, they've been having fights back and forth because of the numerous girls Paul is always hanging out with. Paul can sleep with anything under the skirt, and Ella has caught him on several occasions. And when she talks, Paul beats the living daylight out of her, like beat her gbas gbos anyhow. So it was bad, but she couldn't explain to Ruth. That Ella couldn't explain to Ruth about what was going on and all of that. But because she was shy, right from time, Ruth has been saying ill things about Paul, even though she likes Paul. Let me cut the story short. Paul later had something to do with Ruth. They met at the bar, and Ruth explained everything, explained her feelings, said everything. She was deceived by what she saw, when she came to the house and she saw the whole unity and the whole lifestyle. She didn't know, because Ella never explained or told or complained to her about her marriage, because Ella was indeed shy about some certain things because people had known them. So she's been covering up for Paul, you get me? So, well, she now decided she wanted to snatch Paul from Ella because she loves Paul so much, and Ella has not been able to conceive. Okay, so she feels like she can just come in and take Paul from Ella. Finally, she took him for Paul, and Paul said, okay, if that's the case, I will take you in as my wife. What's the big deal? And then Ella said, okay, if that's the case, yeah. After I've been able to conceive for you, and Ella is not even conceiving yet. She's not even conceiving yet, so, what's the big deal? We can just, get married. She came to the house, announced the pregnancy to Ella. Ella was heartbroken, she was shattered, But Ella said, actually, this is the best time for me to live your life. So it's actually a good thing that Ruth came, so Ruth can take over your madness. They drove Ella out of the house, and Ella didn't even flinch. She just left them. She said, you're my friend, and you choose to do this to me. It's okay, you can go ahead. Mind you, Ella never complained a thing about Paul. So Ella went to the family called Paul's family, they talked, they disagreed to agree, they blamed Paul, but still Ella just took her leave, she made the divorce, and she left. Years down the line, she gave birth, but she gave birth to an imbecile. Yes, the baby cannot do anything, the baby cannot, it was really bad. The baby was actually a special child, and it didn't end there. Paul beats the living life out of her, show her shege banza, had series of girlfriend, cheat, and finally gave her HIV. Oh yes, finally gave her HIV. And how she found out was when she was pregnant, and the doctor confirmed her HIV positive. When she was about giving birth, she died, the baby died. And later, Paul died. And that was the end of the story. That is how the story ends with them. So be careful what you snatch out there, you girls. Be careful what you snatch. In as much as you see life is good for this particular person, you don't know what they are going through. You don't know the story behind it. You don't wish for their blessing. You wish for your own blessing and your own grace. Okay? Alright, my name is Miss Tunch, and I remain your number one, your champion storyteller in the whole wild world. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. I hope you've learned. Learn before you learn the hard way. Cheers. Bye.